Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 2. So my hope for this part is that we will be starting the Great War. It probably won't be the only one, but this is my hope, is that it'll start this part at some point. We'll either fight some of it or it'll start at the very end of the part. Just depends on exactly when it decides to start. Let me get my timer started. Go. Okay. So we're waiting for our second navy to finish getting built up. We are currently working on the cruisers ever so slowly. And it is fairly slowly. Gain a decent amount of the house again, although fascists gain 2.2%. Not exactly something I'm hoping continues. Oh, have I not researched? Oh no, we're researching it right now, okay. I'm like, why can't I build level 5 forts? Yeah, it's because we haven't researched it yet. But we are doing it right now, so give that a little bit of time and we'll be able to do that. Not that it really matters. We support our boys on this botanical expedition that they are apparently currently doing somewhere, I guess in Africa, but I don't know. Somehow the French are number 2 militarily, managing to overtake the Russians. The Russians seem to have scrapped parts of their military, because it seems like their military score is going down ever so slowly right now. I think they were just at 769 when I first clicked on them, and now they're down to 768. Now they're down to 767. I'm not quite sure what's causing that drop. I've got a couple of potential ideas. They might have out-of-date troops or ships or something, and maybe the game actually does say, hey, that thing's out of date, and decreases the score it contributes. In which case it's probably ships, because I don't think it can't really do that with troops. With the army rather. But it's pretty easy to do that with ships. You can just say man of wars are outdated come year XYZ, and every year after that year they contribute less and less to your military score. Expedition returns without success to the South Pole. Apparently this time we're trying to get to the South Pole. We were the first to make it to the North Pole, now we're trying to be the first to make it to the South Pole. We should try again, because it's only 2,000 pounds, and that's literally nothing to us. Let's get main armament to decrease the naval build times further. Meteor strike in the Russian Empire. Okay, so we had some Dutch fascists and Belgian communists. That's, I guess, the way that's going to be. Bulgaria has communists, and actually a fairly decent-sized uprising that was for such a small country, at least. Obviously, it's basically nothing compared to something our size. So we have... So the way our alliances are set up is it is me in Scandinavia and Europe. I have Japan over here in Asia, and the US in North America. We've got some other minor allies, of course, but they're not really important because they are just that. They're minor allies. We've got Bulgaria and our satellite down in Africa. We got Persia over here as well. Two Sicilies is technically our ally. And I had the same issue when I was playing this for myself. Not this save that I just loaded, but the save prior to recording the last part. For whatever reason, Italy refuses to add two Sicilies to their sphere of influence, even though they're at friendly and they have 100 influence, and they're probably still at 3 priority, wasting a bunch of diplomatic influence that could be used for literally anything else. Because for some reason they just refuse to add two Sicilies to their sphere, which I assume is because they want to conquer them, and you can't conquer somebody who's in your sphere. Oh, here we go. Are we gonna get the war because of Douro? Ooh! Now this is interesting. So Russia and the UK, as we already know, are allies. But Russia has decided to support Portugal's claim for Douros. Or Douro, rather. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Douros. It's Douro. Or Douro? I don't know. This little bit of Portugal that Spain has owned for like 20 years, 30 years by now. Well, the UK is, of course, supporting Spain and saying, no, Spain deserves to hold that territory. They've owned it for 20, 30 years, or however how long it's been. But Russia says, no, Portugal should have it back. It's rightfully Portuguese. Now, here's the thing. If I support the UK, it ends without a war. If I support Russia, it potentially ends without a war, and I don't really want to support Russia because I have lands I want to take off of Russia, so I'd rather support the UK for territorial gains. But I can't support either, because if I support either, the crisis will end with nothing. Now, I'm gonna sit on the fence. They can potentially offer me deals. In fact, the game even thinks I should probably support the UK. France should support Russia. Scandinavia will support the UK. That doesn't surprise me. Italy will likely support Russia. They lean more towards Russia, just slightly. Now, I sort of got to let this play out for a little bit first before I can choose a side, because again, like I said, if I support a side too early, it'll probably just end without a war. And, well, I won a war. Rock me my cradle. I want to get rid of my my militancy a little if I possibly can. Speak softly. So there goes France supporting Russia. Ah, now Italy is more inclined to support the UK. I wonder what the reason is, because I don't think Russia, or not Russia, but France owns any land that is specifically Italian. Yeah, as far as I can tell, they don't. I mean, they might want to take Corsica, you know, to have it, but there's nothing that France owns that is strictly Italian. Gain place in the sun on Brazil, which gets me a war with the UK, but only the UK. I don't really care for that. I'd rather take the extra 5% jingoism. Should this war develop. Now, I would love for Scandinavia or Italy to quickly pick a side because I don't want to support too early. But if I don't support in time, one, I'll take a prestige hit, which I don't really care too much about. That I can live with. But also, it might end with Portugal getting their land back, which I don't really care either way, to be completely honest. But nonetheless, I don't want to avoid being involved in a war should it begin. Although with France backing Russia, I might be able to support the UK without any issue. And the reality is I don't care too much about the UK. They were just a means to an end in that test run, and they're always just a means to an end for me here if I want to take land off of Russia. You know what? We're going to go and support the UK now. Italy's going to almost immediately jump to support Russia, and Scandinavia should fairly quickly move to support the UK. This means we're still going to get our three-front war. Come on, Scandinavia, you know you want to join me. Maybe you'll be able to get northern Finland. I'm going to hold off on building those dreadnoughts. Where the hell did these guys come from? Game, I don't think you told me about an uprising. I hope you realize that. So I kind of think it's BS that you decide to do this and then you don't tell me about an uprising. So what did you lose? You lost an infantry. Let's fix that. What did you lose? You also lost an infantry. Let's fix that as well. You actually lost an artillery. Let's not hire French artillery, because we don't like the French. We're fine with employing the Polish, but we're not going to employ the French. Again, the two miners haven't made a decision on who they're going to support. Let's improve our factory input. And I need to get... Damn it, let me select you, thank you. I need to get rid of your man of wars. Of course, the reality is I can't quite afford to build you dreadnoughts. Maybe I'll just keep you as a cruiser fleet for the time being until I can actually afford it without any real issues. Because by being over my limit, I am actually hampering the ability to move supplies to my fleets. Yeah, like this unit has received 85% of the supplies needed in the last day. You're also 85%. So you know what? The Mediterranean fleet, I think for now, we'll leave it as just a cruiser transport fleet, while the Baltic fleet. Am I getting that right? I'm not confusing them? Yes, the Baltic fleet. I tend to always get the Balkans and Baltics confused. They sound far too similar. We'll let the Baltic fleet be our actual main combat fleet. Come on, Scandinavia, you know you want to join me. Let your friend Italy go. You don't care for Italy. Italy does not, quite literally. Also, we are losing a bunch of communists in the upper house, which is always a good thing for us. Socialists, though, I think are still gaining a little bit. I didn't really pay attention to what that said, but I think it showed the... socialists gaining a little bit of power. Damn it! And of course, that white peace doesn't result in either of them hating each other. Which is kind of annoying, because I kind of wish it did. Oh, yes, let's upgrade the forts along our border. Particularly along our actual borders. Especially the ones that border major powers, such as Russia, and France, and Italy. The rest of them I don't really give a crap about. I guess technically I should do Scandinavia too, but I mean, technically I'm allied with Scandinavia, so I shouldn't have any issues with them. Also, let's upgrade the forts in our capital. Well, Berlin's not our capital. It's our second capital. It's further north, so I guess it's our summer capital. Well, Vienna is our winter capital. We can consider it that way, I suppose. Further try and decrease our militancy, although those events aren't really doing a whole hell of a lot. The Temperance League is ever so slowly increasing our militancy permanently, and I can't repeal the Temperance League. Wonderful. You're done. You're done. And you're done. I didn't lose any troops anywhere else, right? No. Not that I can see, at least. Okay, there we go. And we'll... Oh, why isn't Greece in my sphere? They're my puppet. They should be in my sphere at all times. Okay, well now Greece is in our sphere. I don't know why they weren't in our sphere previously. I don't know which is bigger in Istria, so we'll go with the smaller of the two. Now, of course, I could just take the infamy hit, but I kind of want a free excuse to declare war. If I can get it. Ooh. And a bunch of people supporting the Chinese for some reason. In their defense against Guangxi, or Guangxi. I guess it's Guangxi. Although I'm pretty sure Guangxi is still going to win. And Qinghai as well. They should win that against China, or the Chinese Empire. I don't even know where that is, but I'm assuming it's somewhere down here. There they are. It's allied with Cambodia. Okay, now we're losing a decent amount of money. Let's raise a little on the rich and a little on the middle class and a little on the poor. And if you guys start forcing the upper house to, you know, allow me to pass social reforms, I don't mind helping y'all out a little more. I mean, if you want to have, let's see. Well, I guess I should look at voters, technically speaking. You know, I can, well, I guess voters aren't going to want any of this stuff, pretty much. If we're being realistic here, because our voters are purely capitalist and aristocrats, and they're not going to want minimum wage or max hours or safety regulations, etc., etc. Although they are kind of in favor of a better school system, which I can't quite fault them for. That kind of makes sense for them to be potentially in favor of that stuff. Let's get the combustion engine. Gives us more mining and farming output, which aren't really things we care too much for. Although it does give us, it does give us techs that better improve factory throughput, which is something we care about. Raise taxes on the rich a little bit more. See, I kind of wanted to... I know that the French are pretty much going to declare war on me if I go to war with either of these two powers, Russia and the UK, because they're going to think, this is our chance. We have to go now if we want to retake Alsace. Not realizing they're not going to be able to retake Alsace, but hey, you know, they're going to try nonetheless. So I can always... Doesn't matter which one I go for, but again, I want a free excuse to go to war. I don't care what that free excuse is, because I just need a reason, and that gets me a great war, which significantly decreases the infamy gain from claiming territories, or from adding territories as my war goals. Some things should be forgotten. And I only really care about taking stuff off of Russia. I don't really care about the UK. I might liberate Ireland like I did on my test, just for the hell of it, really. But I don't really give a crap if Ireland is an independent country or not. It doesn't really affect me in any way as Germany. I mean, I guess it's beneficial if I were potentially contemplating another war with the UK down the line. I could use it as a good launching off point. Move from Belfast down into Glasgow. Maybe liberate Scotland as well, just for the hell of it, in that second war, if I were to do it. Leaving the United Kingdoms as just England and Wales and Cornwall. So basically it's just the British. Let's see. You know what, let's get the better tax rate. Actually, no, let's get the extra decrease to build time for ships. And what's this? Don't know. And something about a fascist party in one of the Bastard states. I don't know where that is, or even what it means. I've never heard of the Bastard states. Further improving our stuff. Okay, we got an election. Please, please, please stay conservative, people. That's what we need. Actually, let's check our population out of curiosity. Aristocrats and capitalists. Technically, conservatives slightly outbeat the liberals. That doesn't really mean much. That just tells me their ideology. That's not necessarily the way they're going to vote. So we'll see how that all works out. We do have the support of being able to form a coalition, or whatever the game actually calls it. I think it is actually referred to as a coalition with the reactionary party because they are our closest thing. In fact, the fascists might also be able to join a coalition. I don't know if you can have a three-way coalition in this game or not. But if you can, the fascists might also actually be willing to join the coalition with us, which I'd rather not have. I don't know if the game has any hidden effects of coalitions affecting ideology. Ooh, Italian communists. I would love to see Italy go communist just for the heck of it. But did somebody manage to get the Ottomans finally? No. I would have preferred Place in the Sun game. I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I would have much preferred Place in the Sun. But I can live with Humiliate. So the way this will work is the UK is allied with Russia, Portugal, Spain, the Ottomans, Awada. We found the Bastard. Don't know where the hell they are, but we found them. A bunch of other minor powers, Brazil, etc., etc., etc. Now, I do want to note, declaring war on the British is actually slightly better for me than declaring war on the Russians for a number of potential reasons. Namely, the US is a little bit more inclined, I think, to support us in a war against the British than they are to support us in a war against the Russians, even though they would love to take Alaska, because I think they lost it. Yes, I think Russia took Alaska back, potentially. I want to assume it was back from the US in a war at some point. So the US will want it back, and this still gets them a war with Russia. I can say that with a reasonable degree of certainty. Russia will be joining the war. If they don't, then this is all for naught, because I want to take land off Russia. I don't give a crap about the UK. So, let's inform them of the potential consequences of continued non-cooperation for insulting our ambassador. So, the way this war is going to go is we'll declare the war on the British. We'll invite everybody to the party who wants to join. Oh, crap. No. Damn it. Damn it, America. Why'd you have to support China right now? Okay, how long do I have for this to expire? I have until July. I don't think that war is going to be over by July. which is annoying, to say the least. So the US can't join us because Britain, or because they're both fighting in a war together, rather, is the better way to describe it. As a result, the US is incapable of joining me in a war against the British because they can't be fighting one war alongside the British and then fight a separate war against the British. So we're not going to have the US's help, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is a minor annoyance because I was kind of hoping they would be there. Mostly to focus down Brazil, potentially. I was really hoping they would be there to take care of Brazil for me. But that's evidently not going to be the case. So Brazil is going to be able to ship troops over here to Europe. Admittedly, it's not a lot of troops, and if they invade, I can just knock out those troops and then just laugh all the way to the bank. Because they're going to struggle to rebuild, and that potentially opens them up to being invaded by the other South American territories. If any of them can be bothered to, actually do anything, because none of them seem to have really done much, surprisingly. Even Brazil did a little bit. They took some land off Colombia, and that kind of seems to have been about it. They haven't even managed to take over Paraguay, or at least retake or to take Bajo, Paraguay, or wherever it is, somewhere around here they have a claim. Oh no, did they take it? Oh no, they did. Okay, never mind. I was looking at that wrong, apparently. Yeah, so they retook their course, and then they've just kind of sat there twiddling their thumbs the rest of the game, saying, "What do we do? What do we do?" Yeah, that's not what we're gonna do if Brazil wins for the next Vicky 2 campaign. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with the Ottomans. Luckily, I have my friends Bulgaria and the German Kingdom of Matra to deal with the Ottomans, hopefully for me. Persia might also be able to do something, but I don't think they will. Persia will probably get occupied. They tend to get occupied in my experience. I'm gonna make a save before we declare the war. And actually, out of curiosity, where is my timer? We are actually almost out. So we'll start the war, and we'll maybe get in a couple of small skirmishes, but we're not going to be fighting the war this part. That'll happen next part, but let's at least declare the war. So the US can't join, but Japan, Scandinavia, Belgium, Netherlands, Two Sicilies, Bulgaria, Greece, Persia, and the Kingdom of Matra will all join us. To reduce the prestige of Britain by 108.295 prestige points. We probably won't even actually enforce that war goal in particular because I don't care for it. Now, we need to wait a second because we need Russia to join. So, Persia joins, Bulgaria joins, Two Sicilies, Netherlands, Belgium, Scandinavia, Japan all join. The German-British War of Honor becomes the Great War, and Russia is here. I do expect France to declare war on us. That'll be a nice, quick, easy battle in theory. These guys that I actually have on the Italian border, they're not super useful. So we're gonna go ahead, I think, and move them down here to deal with the Ottomans for us. Because if I can just get the Ottomans out of the war quickly, that'll make life a whole hell of a lot easier. So we'll support having a hard time speaking. Our Bulgarian allies in their battles with the Ottomans, just to get them out of here as quickly as possible. Okay, so how do we separate our troops. I'm going to send you there, you there. I'm going to march you through both of those territories. I'm going to send you there. I want you to take Plock. I want you to go there. The reality is I actually don't quite have enough troops. There are going to be a couple of gaps here on this line with the Russians. At least until we can manage to siege down this Polish part of the country. That's sort of sticking into the side of our country, which is the sole reason why I want to take it, is so we have a nice straight flat border, or at least as close as you can get in this game with the Russians. And there's our timer. We will let the part go a little bit long. Oof, that's a sizable army on, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but on those islands there in southern Finland. And of course this happens right as we're currently in the middle of an election, which is slightly annoying to say the least. We will only go with 5% in favor of that, because we don't want it. Oh, do I send... yeah. Let's go and blockade the British Isles. If I can try and limit their ability to get forces down here onto mainland Europe, that would be grand. I want you to take care of that guy real quick, if you don't mind. Now, in theory, I should be able to get the Ottomans out with relative ease. Here we go. And let me make sure I get the names right. So first thing we want to take is the one with a W. So acquire state. Wielkopolski. And it's only 3.6 infamy with no casus belli for it. Because we have, well, because it's a Great War and that decreases it by, I think it's 33% or something like that. And we've also researched mass media, which is like another 33% reduction on top of that, bring it down from what would have typically been 11 infamy down to 3.6. Great wars are a perfect time to take tons of land from people. Now I kind of want to sink that British Navy there as well, if I possibly can. The issue with keeping my navy here in the Strait of Dover is that if the French decide to declare war on us, they're going to immediately rush out of the Strait of Dover and attack my navy. And if I'm not paying attention, my navy is wrecked. No. Yeah, okay, there we go, Scandinavia. I was about to say, I was like, no, go north. Take Finland. Distract the damn Russians for me. And they are. But they are sending two small armies. They are absolutely tiny. They're not even classified as armies, in my opinion. They're the extras that they couldn't afford to actually put in a real army. There we go. Now let's see if we can get over here and sink that. I should be able to win that. I don't know why it's showing the British is winning that. They're not winning that. Really, game? Really? Austrian communists? Right now? When I'm in the middle of a war? Really? You gotta do that to me? Okay, we'll take care of that. I've got a spare army here in France that can take care. You know what? I'm just gonna set you to hunt rebels. I'm not gonna micromanage you to deal with those guys and then go back and then deal with them again. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at the size of that thing over there. And let's get over here. We need to sink the British Navy. That is a very vital goal of ours. We have lost the transport, but I don't really give a crap about losing transports. I can live with that. Also, let's go and get the next set, which is Mazowiecki, whatever. There it is. That's what I want. I only care about those two provinces. Again, I don't really give a crap about the rest of this stuff. If I can manage to end this war taking just that stuff very nice and easily, I probably will. Because I don't really, again, I don't care to have it go any longer than it absolutely has to. We've lost another transport. Again, I can live with this. The British, I believe, are running around with battleships rather than, I don't know, those are a bunch of cruisers. Oh, they do have a dreadnought mixed in. And they have a better leader than us. No, game, I don't want planned economy either. That's supporting the socialists and communists. You know what, no, you go back him up there as well, and then you go over there. Close that gap. Now, admittedly, I think the Russians are able to walk through Moldavia, which is a little annoying. You know, maybe I'll force the Ottomans to give up a puppet. Or not a puppet, but liberate a country. Let's see, what would I might want to liberate? I could force them to give Greece all of their territory. That might actually be worth it. We'll see what I do. I got plenty of time. Now, I only care to form a nice straight line with the Russians here, so I'm not going to really bother pushing. God damn, that battle is dragging on. And I've taken more losses than I would have liked. But whatever, I can live with it. Just like I said, it's more losses than I would have liked. If I take Brest, then I'll be sticking into the Russians. That might be fun. Maybe I'll take Brest as well. Or Briest, or however it's pronounced. You go down here and deal with these damn Russian troops in our borders. You know what? I'm going to leave this to Greece and Bulgaria. So you go up there. You take care of that army. You take care of that army. And you siege Istanbul. Because why not? Who the hell is that? Oh, that's Netherlands. God, I didn't realize I never really paid that much attention to their color. I didn't realize that that's what they look like on green when they occupied a territory. Oh no, never mind. I already told you to do something. You go and actually do what I told you to do. Take care of that guy, and then you can siege that back. And also, out of curiosity, are you willing to end this war quickly? No, you're not. I mean, I didn't really expect you to be, but I was kind of hoping you would be. Also, I've let this part, I think, go on for probably close to 10 minutes past. So we're going to go and end this here, and we'll finish the war next time. We'll see what else we end up taking. Like I said, I only really care to take sort of this stuff right here off of Russia. I might force the Ottomans to give Greece the rest of their territory back. Some of it is technically held by Bulgaria. I'm hopeful that doesn't cause any real issues. Well, I don't need to do a cut down to size because the Great War already does that. They're both going to be forced to scrap their entire military, more or less. I don't know. We'll figure out what we decide to take. I am a little shocked that the French haven't declared war on us. Also, very clearly my Hunt Rebels guy either did his job and I completely failed to notice it, or he didn't do his job, and I failed to notice that as well. Ooh. Are the British attempting to land troops in France to march them through France into Germany? D-Day is a little early, guys, and I haven't occupied France. It's not exactly fair if you're trying to pull a D-Day on me in 1910. Well, you know, if the Scandinavians don't force Russia to give them their land back, I might force Russia to give Scandinavia all their cores, just to further screw with Russia. You know what? Actually, I think I am going to do that. Well, no, we'll wait. We'll see what our infamy is looking like when everything comes down, and I'll give Scandinavia the opportunity to actually press that claim themselves before we make a decision. So that's going to be it for this part. Let me save. So that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, I do have a Patreon. Link is down in the description below. I also have a Discord, which is also linked down there below. The Discord is not particularly active right now because there's just not a lot of people in there, so not a whole lot of chatting, but it is there, and it's honestly mostly for being able to keep up to date with channel happenings for the most part. But nonetheless, feel free to join it and have discussions. I don't have an issue with that. Like I said, though, I mostly just use it for channel announcements. And as for the Patreon, that is the easiest and best way to help support the channel. For as little as $1 a month, you get early access to my videos. How early that access is varies a little bit depending upon the video part, but I typically try to get the videos up on Sunday, sometimes Sunday. I'll upload them to YouTube and I'll post the early access on Patreon, so if you join it, you'll get early access starting sometime on Sunday. But yes, so that'll be it. I also believe I have some affiliate links down below for picking up Victoria too, if you wish to pick it up. Like I've mentioned before, it's a fun game. It has some issues. It's rough around the edges because it's from 2010, and that's one of Paradox's older titles, and they haven't released Vicky 3, nor have they indicated anything to say that they are actually working on a Vicky 3, which is kind of a shame because I honestly think they do a really good job at it now. But I think the main thing that's holding them back is something that they've hinted at a couple times, seems to be the economy simulation. The people that worked on it for Vicky 2 don't work at the company anymore. So they don't have anybody who understands the code for the economic simulation that they used here for Vicky 2. And I don't think they quite know how to recreate it for Vicky 3, and they want to probably have it actually be understandable and workable by you, the player. As it stands right now, as a player, you typically can't do anything. If you try to actually manage your economy physically, you tend to cause global depressions more often than not. So you're generally better off just letting the AI do it. Which, of course, effectively means there's not much point for the system then, if you might as well just let the AI always handle it. So that's might be one of the reasons they haven't announced Vicky 3 is because if they're working on it at all, they're probably working on the economic simulation. But nonetheless, that'll be it for this part. I will see you all next time. But until then, a goodbye and farewell.